Hey, what is up? Thought we'll go live today. Why not? Big surprise. It's Tuesday. Just been on a walk with the kids in the woods and had a big discussion about mushrooms. That was the highlight of the walk, really. Saw lots. Now, the point that I want to talk about today is all around coaching, really. I want to dive into coaching, if you will. Now, when I talk about coaching, it's a little bit down the same route and discussion as when we ask people what is CrossFit. Obviously, we had that video years and years and years and years and years ago, what is CrossFit, that was very famous and very poignant and summed it all up. But has that changed? And also, different people have different perspectives of what CrossFit is. Good morning, Sean. How are you, sir? So this is all reflections from last weekend in London. We all have an idea about what coaching is. Now, if you were to ask someone in the world of CrossFit to name a coach, who do you think they would name? Would they name a coach that they think you would know, or would they name their own coach? And I guess what I'm getting at here is the same question when we talk about what is CrossFit or what is coaching. Do we talk about elite coaches in the same conversation that we talk about everyday gym going coaches? Because in my mind, they tend not to be the same thing. And we have different practices. And a question that I asked 6 months ago now, I first asked Daniel Chaffee about it, and I've asked Greg, and I've asked Andy, and I've asked Gareth, and I've asked Ed, and I've asked Facundo, and I've asked many, many, many different people about coaching at the elite level and coaching as an athlete. And who are the coaches that have produced the CrossFit Games champs? Sean Roddy writes, no, but we don't exactly talk about everyday gym goers like we do athletes. Exactly. Right. So that's a very good point, Sean. And one that I totally agree with. I guess same way I wouldn't talk about my local Sunday league football team manager in the same way as people. Exactly. Right. But that's a good point. So we talked about that before. Fergie was never, Alex Ferguson, who Sean's talking about, arguably the greatest football soccer manager of all time at Manchester United. Before that, he was at Aberdeen, wasn't he? He never really hit the dizzy heights of being a player. And he was more of a team player and wasn't an elite player. And that's what gave him the edge when and he was Scottish. The Scots just, for some reason, make excellent leaders in sport, especially. If you look at the games winners, who are their coaches? To my knowledge, they aren't the elite games athletes. I don't think they have ever had one. So that's my first point. So what would make the ideal coach for a games athlete probably isn't going to be the same thing for an ideal coach on the gym floor. Now, who's making the biggest impact? And I'm comparing apples to oranges here. I know that. But it's something I've been thinking about a lot the last few months. I talked about this last week after Coaches Congress about who the biggest influencers are in our space. Pound for pound, the biggest influencers are the coaches. They're the ones that change lives. They introduce people, they educate people, they inspire people. They actually make the changes that we all talk about. We talk about culture, we talk about community, we talk about CrossFit and what makes us different. It is the coaches that do that on the gym floor. And I've been thinking about why it is that what is it about this? And this isn't a pat on the back. It's simply a brainstorming session today. I'm hoping to get some feedback. Why is it that we don't revere and promote, I guess would be a word. I don't want coaches don't need celebrating. Why is it there isn't more of that from the gym level? Is it the affiliate owners aren't doing it? Is it that the members are more celebrated, and therefore the culture that we have at CrossFit is that we don't celebrate the coaches for a good reason? Is it the fact that we run classes and our coaching time is diluted amongst 20 people at a time? So is it that their role isn't necessarily seen as significant in that setting as opposed to one-on-one and small groups or elite level where a coach might have 2 athletes they work with? And Soloway writes, because they don't perform publicly and they're not looking for attention. So let's explore that, because they don't perform publicly. I think they do perform publicly. I know what you mean, and I'm looking at semantics there and the words you wrote, but let's explore that. They don't perform publicly. I think the coaches do perform publicly, but the scope of their publicity is very limited. So I probably coach through classes probably in the region of about 150 different people every week. So I coach 150 people in class settings, in group settings per week. So I'm sort of publicly performing, so to speak, but it's not, it is simply doing the job. It's my profession. It would be saying like the postman performs publicly by knocking on knocking on houses, 1,000 houses every week. So I get what you mean. It's a very different role. It's a definitely a different, differently perceived thing. So, okay, let's look at that. Hello, Jody. Jody Lynn writes bacon with a lovely emoji. Morning, Jody. And you'll notice at the bottom left of my screen, I have a lovely logo there from Coaches Congress. One of the brilliant takeaways from Coaches Congress for me was there was very, very little discussion around the games, around the sport. Very little. The only mention of it, aside from Q&As when people specifically asked, was around a dinner table when we were talking about Rogue and talking about who was going to be there. That was the only discussion around the sport. Other than that, from Friday afternoon when I arrived till Sunday night when I left, there was zero discussion around the sport of CrossFit or fitness racing in general. Now, what was lovely to see was people that are involved in the elite, i.e. Rich, Austin, Rory, Annie, all the people that were elite sports people talking about regular day coaching, talking about values and principles, talking about fucking squat mechanics, talking about how to enrich the culture in your gym, how to where to stack boxes in your gym, how to use space in your gym better, how to booking systems. It was all like the day-to-day shit that coaches genuinely have to think about every day. And that was the beauty of that weekend. It was drama free. It was it was it was us. It was that corner of CrossFit, whether you perceive it as the small bit or whatever. It was the real side of it that we live day to day. And it was so refreshing to be able to hear that. And what was great was that we got to hear it from these voices that we assumed maybe didn't have an interest in it or didn't do it day to day. So it begged the question to me, could there be more? And this was what used to make the red shirts at the seminar staff. What used to make them magic was the fact that we understood that they were athletes and gym runner owners, affiliate owners, and coaches on the gym floor. That was what made the red shirts awesome to see, right? They did all of it. And maybe, just maybe, that is where we've lost a little bit of that spark on the seminar stuff, is that we don't necessarily see the people that are on the fitness racing side of it doing that and owning gyms at the same time. So there's no cohesion. So we've lost a little bit of that. But what I would love to hear about and love to see and love to understand, and I think could be a really big part of moving forward with all of this, is just that the elite coaches, the gym owners, and Chase does this wonderfully, and Bill, but the newer modern era athletes and coaches talking about that, talking about how they Mexican Godfather writes, did you talk about things you hate that members do? Talking about that kind of thing, talking about the morons that bring liquid chalk into a CrossFit gym, people that flood the showers, people that have a quick rinse in the sink, people that are late all the time. How do we position ourselves with them? How do we have those conversations? We had a discussion on stage about people that stink when they turn up to the gym and how to approach them and talk about the use of deodorant or showering. There's all these little things that come up. Han Soloway writes, I think awesomeness comes mostly from the results and effort they're able to coax out of their athletes. What have you done for me lately mentality? I think their awesomeness comes mostly from the results and effort they're able to coax out of their athlete. Right, okay. And we're talking about the elite coaches here, I assume. Mexican Godfather writes, Steve wrote his rounds on the floor. Yeah. And again, there's these basic feedback things, right, that are worldwide. That was the other thing, right? So you've got Annie from Iceland, you've got Rich from Cookville, you've got a guy called Marcel from France, you've got me from the Isle of Man previously in London. And we've all got the same issues. We've all got that guy that turns up late and doesn't say sorry. We've all got the dickhead that goes RX plus. We've all got the guy that takes his shirt off before the warm-up started. We've all got the person that leaves the toilet light on. We've all got the person that turns up 5 minutes late and is, oh, sorry. We've all got the one that needs a wee before the workout's about to start. The one that leaves their kit out. The one that uses liquid chalk. Every single CrossFit gym has the same characters in it. And it's the same problems that we face day in, day out. And it's not necessarily the big problems that we get to talk about. It's just those, those little things that are funny. But problems aside, okay, we didn't really address problems on that weekend. That was only in passing comments and in between the seminars. The big talking points of the weekends was, how do we improve? How do we get better? What systems are there in place? How do we get better coaching? How do we pay our coaches more? How do we expand our knowledge? How do we continue our education? What brands can we work with? And there was a question that I asked on stage that Henrik had asked me to propose to everyone in the audience. So here's what happened. 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, I walked on stage and I did about a 20-minute talk going through a presentation on what the people could expect. And they're all sat there. And there's one slide when we're talking about the vendor village and who's there and that kind of thing. And the question that summed this whole weekend up for those vendors was, you got to walk up to each of those vendors and ask them, how can you help my gym make more money? How can you help my gym make more money? And that was what the affiliates and the coaches were talking to the vendors about. And those vendors might have been brands like Fit Aid were there, GoRuck were there, British Weightlifting were there. How can you make us more money? Right. You can upskill your coaches, get them on their British weightlifting courses, get them learning about that and run workshops, and they're going to be better coaches. And therefore you're going to make more money. You get more value coming in. The entire weekend was all about making your gym better. The foundation and the base, he said the base of all of this structure that we have is all geared up around that, is all geared up around how good the coaching is at the gyms. It all depends on that. Right, back to the comments. Kenneth Delap writes, yo. Yeah, so Sean, imagine having to tell a fully grown man or woman you smell wild. I've had this conversation over the last, where are we now, 2020? Over the last 13 years, I've probably had to have that conversation about 3 or 4 times. Good morning, Stephen Flores. How the devil are you? Hello, Mr. Keeping It Real. I hope you're doing marvelous today. And it's not an easy conversation to be had, especially from a male coach to a female member. It's not an easy one to do. Now, I've tried different ways of doing this. The most brutal one was I drip fed the information by, for example, putting a can of deodorant on the front desk. And when people walked in, I just sort of, smiled and nodded. But the thing is that the person it applies to doesn't realize they stink. So ultimately it was a conversation around, is everything okay? Can I just ask, are you cycling back straight from work? Because this person that I did this conversation with first would cycle from a manual work to the gym and work out in a vest without having washed or anything from a full day of work. Now, hats off to him. He was doing a full day of work. And that was where the conversation was led from, full respect for coming straight from work, hard day. But I've noticed that we aren't changing, we aren't having a quick wash before. Now, I know the irony in that is that you're going to get sweaty anyway, but could I ask really kindly if you could just have a quick rinse before you come to the gym? Because I've noticed, you're a bit sweaty from your work. I had that conversation once and it was solved. It was all sorted. It's not pleasant. And, there's certain conversations you have to have as an affiliate owner and as a coach that you don't necessarily want to have. But it's business at the end of the day, and you have to do it, unfortunately. Han Solo, making money was never the goal for CrossFit. Strive for excellence. The thing is with that Han Solo way is that gyms have to make money. They have to make money. If they're not making money, they're fucked and they shut. And then all of the community at that gym are ruined and they don't have a place to go. So in order to make money, and remember, Han Solo way, what Greg talks about is creating entrepreneurs. The money was never the goal for CrossFit. It isn't the goal, but it's a method to allow your culture to survive and to operate and thrive. If you don't have good income, if you don't charge what you should be charging for your gym membership, if you're not upgrading the equipment, if you're not able to pay the staff very well, this is what's happened with a lot of gyms. They can't afford to pay for the decent coaches. They can't afford to pay for the L1s and the continued education because they've got no real profit to be given out. We have to strive to make money. CrossFit gyms should be a profit-making business. And if they're not, They end up getting burned out. The owners think, fuck this after 5 to 10 years, and they give up or they sell. Someone else will come in and they will do it. So the businesses have to thrive in order for the community to grow, to have the best coaching and the best cultures and the best CrossFit gyms. It has to happen, which is why a necessary, I don't want to say evil, but a necessarily part of the last couple of years of CrossFit gyms is to consider having high rocks classes. And that's something we've talked about a lot, is that it's a necessary evil that those stalwarts of CrossFit and the people that don't want to do it, that's great. If you're working at a profit, that's fine already. And that I appreciate and I value those gyms. However, if you know full damn well how profitable you could be by putting on one high rock session a day, you could pack that class out with 20 people minimum. Very, very little work has to go into programming high rocks classes. It's just an aerobic, maybe threshold, maybe interval, maybe strength building exercise. 45 to 60-minute class. There are so many people to capture in your local market that aren't coming to you right now that could use those as a stepping stone into CrossFit. Price point stays the same, if not maybe higher. We've looked at F45 classes in the past. The price point for F45 is about 1.5, between 1.25 and 1.5 that of a CrossFit gym. The disposable income of people that don't want to lift weights is actually higher. So people that want to do HIIT classes tend to have slightly higher income on the whole. You look at the Two Brain accounts, and from my own experience, the people that want to come in, the weekend warriors, the people that want to come in and sweat for 45 minutes, they want to come in, they want to shower, they want to get out. So yeah, that was it. Mexican Godfather writes, that reminds me, I forgot to wipe down my bench I used this morning and I got pretty sweaty heels. Getting onto a sweaty bench for a predecessor is up there with it. And you know what? One of the very, very, very few good things that came out of the pandemic and the lockdowns and the gym shit that we had to go through was, I think on the whole, cleanliness at gyms has potentially got a bit better. The amount of tissue paper available, the dispensers, the sprays that we've still got lying around in the gyms, all that kind of thing. We might have seen a bit of an improvement from there, from previous before then. I certainly know the gyms that I had and I work at now have improved over the last 5 years because of that. Now, is that directly responsible because of the pandemic? Maybe, maybe not. It might be just keeping up with the times and adapting. So could be that. Jodie Lynn writes, my box has kids ninja classes. And that, yeah, exactly, Jodie. So there's one in the, I don't know if it's global. I could be wrong. It might be a European thing. It's called Raw Gymnastics. You might have heard of it. I think is it an American brand? I'm trying to remember. Someone in here will tell me. And effectively, it's a mini franchise, and you pay for the kit. You've got, the kit gets delivered. You run the syllabus, and you run it as classes. You keep all the profit, but you pay a royalty for like an affiliation fee, and that is amazingly profitable for people. Now, clearly, you need the space, you need the time, and you need the coaches that are willing to work with those kids and on the younger scale. If you've got that at your gym, it is a no-brainer to run that in the daytime, to run that class. It's typically from 3 to 7-year-olds. Get that in your timetable and run it. And it's another revenue stream, It's but again, we're coming back. You need the coaches. You need the coaches that are going to be experienced and willing to do that kind of thing. Good morning, Jeremy Eats World. To not offer high rocks because you think you're being loyal to CrossFit is silly. To not offer high rocks because yeah. Of course, if you have the means to do so. Cool. I think I know what you're saying. Yeah. Just out of some sort of misconceived loyalty or perception of what I should be doing at my gym. I'll tell you what you should be doing at your gym. Offering CrossFit as the main staple of your gym, acknowledging that there's going to be a wider market that you can capture to make your business more profitable and better for your current members and expansion. and then you can get a better car. You can have a better revenue stream. You can have a bigger, broader, wider community that is thriving at your gym, and the CrossFit gets better. Because guess what? I'll give you a very good example of this. Our gym on the island, about a year ago, the owners of the island are the owners of the gym are massively into their jiu-jitsu, especially Dan, and he's got a passion for it. And through necessity, he had to corner off and make some of the gym floor into a jiu-jitsu corner. And over the last year, it has expanded and it has become hugely popular at the gym, massively. There was concerns initially it would take up too much space of the gym from certain members of our gym. But let me tell you now, it was using up dead space. It's expanded, and the revenue, the profit that you can make from having jiu-jitsu matting. Think about what you need. You need cleaning apparatus, and then the coaches pay themselves through revenue, and you get a cut from there. It's so profitable. And let me tell you something, the equipment, the money that they've made from that corner has upgraded the CrossFit gym. It's upgraded the equipment. It's made sure we've got new barbells, new plates are coming in. We've got new bike ergs coming in. And that's all from the jiu-jitsu area funding it. It's this smart thinking. It's this smart gym ownership that potentially we didn't have to have 10 years ago because it was just a CrossFit gym and that was enough. But now we're changed and it's adapting. And if you're refusing to adapt and have a look and expand simply because of comfort and this relic to days gone by and this dogmatic approach to things, if you're unwilling to do that, unfortunately, you're going to be left behind. In an ideal world, of course, it would just be CrossFit. Of course, we would have classes from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. It'd just be CrossFit. Everyone would love it. But guess what? Not everyone does want to do that. And as a business owner, after a certain amount of years of doing it, you have to realize that you've got a much broader base that you need to get. And guess what? If you get 100 High Rocks members coming in at $100 a month, you get an extra 10 grand a month revenue that you can shove into the equipment that they're sharing. You can upgrade it. And guess what? Most of the High Rocksers, they're not going to be using the barbell work if you don't program it. You can funnel that through and the CrossFitters are happy. They're getting more. So it all works in itself. You've just got to be smart about things. And you've got to adapt with what the changes have happened. And the best gyms out there have done that for the last 5, 6, 7 years. They saw it coming and they've adapted. And the gyms that don't want to do that for whatever reason, look, if you can survive and not change and keep doing what you're doing and your little corner of the world is fine with that, brilliant. That is so good. Awesome. I love that. I love it that you're just doing this thing called CrossFit. It's beautiful. Fair play. But for the overwhelming majority of gyms and coaches out there, we've had to change that. Oh, good morning, Joseph. I trust you're well. Joseph Ramirez. Hans Solo writes, I did a High Rocks and 80% of the people there. Yeah, because they are. Because they are. And next Thursday, Jon and I will be doing a High Rocks. And we look more like CrossFitters. Well, I am a CrossFitter. Jon does CrossFit training, but he doesn't train specifically for CrossFit. But we both look like it. And guess what? A lot do. Especially if you go in the pro division. Han Solo writes, my former affiliate was largely funded by the pickleball membership. Yeah. Again, pickleball. Who are the types of people that are going to play pickleball? In the UK, from mine, from my experience in the UK and where I am now, pickleball is mainly played by 45 plus people. So people over the age of 45 with a slightly higher income that are willing to invest in all that shit and pay top money for that area. The other thing with pickleball is you've only got 4 people per court maximum at any given time. With CrossFit, in that same amount of space, we can have 10 people working out. So the premium for that space is higher. So they're willing to pay more money. And guess what? The equipment you need to give out, the investment in that area, minimal. So that's a great example. Great example. Mexican Godfather writes, imagine if you could have 10 of each erg. Yeah, so what we've got our gym is we've got 10 echoes, We've currently got 2 bike ergs, but we're getting more of them. They're just the bikes. We've got 5 ski ergs, but we're getting more of them. We've got 10 rowers. So we will be at a point very, very soon where we're going to have 10 of all the machines, along with larger space and everything to go with it. So, and that is all because of the expansion and the mindset and the growth mindset of the owners here. And let me tell you, the islands is a very contained culture and community of people. Jeremy Eats World writes, off subject, thoughts and discussions Seth Page and Wes Pyatt have been having around affiliate programming. Jeremy, I've got no idea about that, I'm afraid. I haven't listened to that. I haven't heard about it. Let me know. Let me know and elevate a pitch about what they've been talking about, and I might be able to give you my opinion, but I don't know, unfortunately, what they've been talking about. Mexican, you are cooked on the run. Yep, because I haven't done any running. My theory is I don't need to, but we'll find out. Sean writes, serious question, Jake. Are you both going topless from the get-go? That is a great question, and it's one that we have been debating. I'm happy to, but I'm happy not to. So I don't really have an opinion either way. Now, recently, when I've been training, I have been taking my shirt off because of the intensity, and I do a lot of ski erg and bike and rowing, and it just flaps around and gets in the way. Now, I've lost a little bit of weight. I'm down to 91 kilos this week. So down from 97.5 when I started my powerlifting cycle. A lot leaner. I'm looking good. But if Yon was to say to me, I want to wear this t-shirt, I would go along with it and wear a t-shirt. I've never really been one for taking my shirt off in workouts. It wasn't really on the plan or the schedule for me. I never really did it. It's only very recently that I've found, because of the intensity and the heat from the amount of interval work I'm doing on the ergs. And also, I don't really train in classes too often at the moment because I'm just off script doing my own program. So if I'm out working in a class, I keep my shirt on. I don't really see the. I've got what's the phrase? Cognitive dissonance here. When the shirt comes off, I know that it's not for anything other than, for me anyway, for just the heat factor. And the shirt flapping around and getting in the way, and it's annoying. Because I don't really wear small t-shirts. I wear quite oversized baggy t-shirts. And because of that, it gets in the way. Now, I don't have a problem with taking my shirt off, but the visuals of a guy taking his shirt off in the gym, to me, it's like, did you really need to take that off? Is there that part of you that thinks you're an alpha dog? You know, are you that guy that's taking it off to beat his chest and to impress everyone? And I can't help but think that. I can't help but think it, and I don't know why. I went to bodybuilding gyms where there was stringers and vests. They didn't take their shirts off to train. I went to a powerlifting gyms. They never took their shirts off. I was at Olympic weightlifting gyms. They never took their shirts off. I went to gyms from 1998 until 2012 when I started at the CrossFit gym. And that was the first time that I saw guys taking their shirts off. And I thought, what are you doing? And I've always had that in the back of my mind. I can't help it. I can't help that thing of, I know it's a me thing. I'm judging those guys for taking their shirts off, and I shouldn't, but I do. But every now and again, I will go shirts off when I'm on my own in the gym, when no one else is around, and I see the value in it. And I know that's hypocritical, and I know what it sounds like coming out loud here. I know it. But just the way that I operate, I'm afraid. So yeah. So yeah, Sean, that was the answer to you. Mexican, I should never pop the top off in front of that many people. Jeremy, just oh, brilliant. Thank you, Jeremy. I should have a read. Jodie Lim writes, you're killing it with narrating comments in the chat. Oh, thank you, Jodie. Thank you. Han Solo, my shirt is always off unless I'm sharing equipment or cycling a barbell around my shoulders. Yeah, obviously. It's the whole shirt thing's for the cleans. When you're receiving it on the clean, you don't want to be slippery, do you? And then you see the people chalking up their shoulders. Just hassle. Just keep your shirt on. Sean Roddy with a very introspective and thoughtful analysis of that. Stringers are gay. Jeremy writes, it was a yes or no question, Jake. And Han Solo writes, I judge you for not taking it off. Jodie Lynn says, I don't take my shirt off. Yeah. So, and do you know what? What a beautiful thing that one of the biggest talking points on the gym floor is whether or not people take the shirts off or not. Like, that's the height of our issues in CrossFit gyms, in etiquette. Like, not that much of a big deal, is it really? Now, put it this way. At our gym, fucking in every single class, there's guys with their shirts off. And I will never judge them. I will never talk to them about it. And it's not a problem. It's not, don't have this big issue about it. Not at all. But for myself, I don't feel the need to do it. And I feel like people will judge me if I do it. Are you okay with women taking their shirts off? As long as they've got something underneath it, not a problem. But yeah. Look, I don't mind looking at people's bodies, like men's especially, because I think with men, I like looking at proportions and symmetry and like there's comparison. And I like I used to draw men's bodies. I didn't really. I'm playing to a role here. But yeah. Good morning, Vindicate. Good morning, Jakey. So yeah, so I went off on a massive tangent there, didn't I? So where was I? Coaches. Everyday coaches. Your bog standard, everyday CrossFit affiliate gym coach. Are they valued enough? Are they, when was the last time? Here you go. Han Soloway, Jody, Sean, Vindicate, Jeremy, Mexican Godfather, everyone in the chat, anyone that's higher up that I can't see at the moment, Joseph Ramirez. If you guys go to an affiliate, when was the last time that you fed back to the affiliate owner about the level of coaching, how good the coaching is, and thanked them for their service towards your community? When was the last time that you did that? Be honest. And I know some of you don't go to affiliates and gyms, so that's okay. Be a bit weird if you fed back to your garage gym owner. In New York at the game. So Joseph Mirez, right? So who is your coach then, Joseph? Who is it that you talk to about? Mexican Godfather writes. I give people that often, but only when I have to. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Exactly. Joseph Miranda, we stopped at a local affiliate there and coaches were awesome. That's so good to hear, Joseph, especially in drop-ins. When you go to do a drop-in, the best thing that you can do is leave a Google review for their local community on the SEO, so the searching. Han Solo, not often enough. Vindicate writes to train alone, so I just look at them and say, you did damn fine today, boy. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So talking of coaching, I had a lady from the island, Janet, the Janimal Instinct. Yesterday, she won the M2, which is 50 to 60-year-old powerlifting world champs yesterday. She got the gold. And I've had the absolute pleasure of working with Janet. More specifically, the last 12 weeks. So I've been working with her for that. And she's only gone and won the world champs. Incredible. And her numbers were insane. Her numbers were insane. She hit a 190. She got a PB on the deadlift, but she did what she needed to. She got a 192.5 kilo deadlift. Bearing in mind she's 57 years old, sorry. 57-year-old female hit a 192.5 kilo deadlift. She hit a 92.5 kilo bench, and her squat was 165, I believe. But yeah, phenomenal athlete. She won the High Rocks last year in her age group in London. She missed out on the CrossFit Games in the 55 to 59-year-old last year only because of she hasn't got handstand push-ups because she can't do them. She's never worked on them. She's just won the world champs at powerlifting. She's just the Janimal. She's just a phenomenal athlete. She's a woman of God. She's a doctor. Her husband's a physician. Her daughter plays for the Bristol Bears rugby team. She's in the England squad for rugby. Their whole family is just this beautiful, competent, happy, full of joy, in fucking real smart family. And yeah, she's done herself and her family proud. So well done, Janimal. Yeah, no. Jeremy's feedback writes, steroids. But yeah, no, she's completely clean. And she has to be for the IPF. So they get tested at competition in the IPF thoroughly. Obviously, it's the international governing body, so they do that. But I know you're joking. But yeah, it was lovely to see him because it's in South Africa. Or it was in South Africa. It is only an hour in front for us, which is crazy. But what is the cost on a good singlet? That's a great question, Mexican Godfather. I think Mike Sauer might have one you can borrow because he won't be using it for a little while. That was harsh. I'm so sorry, Mike. He doesn't listen anyway. He's asleep right now. So SBD have just launched, and I know Mexican Godfather knows this already, but if you're in the market for a weight lifting excuse me, just pulling it up. So SBD, who has previously been obviously SBD's squat bench deadlift, they're a powerlifting brand. They've now moved into weightlifting, working with British Weightlifting on this. It's IWF approved. Incredible bit of kit. And it debuted last week at the World Champs in Norway, in the fjords of Norway. But yeah, very, very, very well put together singlet. Depending on obviously how much you're willing to spend, of course, but these singlets will I'd imagine have lifetime guarantee. I love that bit at the end with it. And hey, where's my thing gone? There we go. Jody Lim writes, ouch. Oh boy, what's Sour do? Jeremy, Mike was at a lifting meet, and he, on his third attempt of snatch, I think he went for a PB. I think it was at a 110, and he overextended, and he held on to it a bit too long, and his elbow sort of dislocated. So yeah, he might not be using it for a little while, but he's all right. He's a tough lad. He's only 24, even though he looks a lot older. I saw a video of him this morning doing some safety bar squats. So he's got a good coach, good team around him. He'll be carrying on training and doing what he can. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as Brooke Wells's, but you know that kind of when you wince when you watch it. And he did send a video of it. But the best bit about it was one of the loaders was sat on the seat to the side of the stage, and his face was amazing. When Mike did it and it went back, the guy was just like not impressed. And then Mike moved and he looked at his elbow and it looked not great. And the guy's face in the background's like, oh, it was, yeah, it was, Mike won't mind us taking the piss out of him. But yeah. So yeah, rest up, Mike Sauer. This one's for you. Good. Right. What's next? What are we talking about? Jeremy's DM'd me. Let me have a look. Oh no, it's on the wrong channel. There we go. Never mind. I'll read it later. Yeah, ouch. Speedy recovery, Mike. That's rough. Sean sends his love and best wishes to you, Mike Sauer. All right. Hang on. Hold your horses, yeah. So let's have a look. SBD. Let's have a look at it, shall we? Now, it's not actually... Oh, actually, what's the date? Yeah, it launches today. Ooh! Let's have a look. I'll share my screen while I go through this. Share screen. Vindicate writes, Jake, is that a real C4 or one of those fake ones like Pedro gets? Now, it depends on what you'd class as... Right. Powerlifting. Now, it looks like it's not available just yet. I don't think it's online just yet, but this is singlet I have for my powerlifting. He looks like a big boy, doesn't he? It's about £75. Yeah, and I can assure you. So SBD are the official brand of powerlifting. Or if you watch World's Strongest Man or Giants Live, SBD are throughout the board, all there, and now they're turning their eyes to weightlifting. So you're probably looking at about the same price ish. So it'll be under £100. So £75 is worth about $100 roughly. So it's about $100 for a decent singlet that's never going to go wrong on you. Vindicate these. This is a weird flavor. It was on Amazon Prime deal, so I got this one. It's Millions bubblegum sugar-free energy drink. It doesn't have much caffeine in it. I think we're looking at about it's only about 160 milligrams. So for me, that's enough because I'll probably have 2 or 3 of them today because I'm a little bit tired today. Didn't have too good of a sleep, but I won't moan. Mexican Godfather writes, will you sponsor my powerlifting career with a new singlet? So I want to look like the black dude in it. Well, I mean, you could. Pedros don't have beta alanine. Beta power. I don't like that. I don't think they should call it beta power because it sounds a little bit, la-di-da. I'd love it if it was alpha power. Oh, guess what I got delivered today? I've got a Velcro patch for my bag. Yeah, buddy. That's the Manx tartan. So yeah, there we go. No news is good news, as they say. I'm going to continue to explore the avenue of coaching. Oh, one thing that I did ask the other day, and I got a bit of feedback from what I was going to talk about, was I asked a few questions. I asked for some opinions on training, about hours trained and that kind of thing. Let me just have a quickie looky hooky. Your tools. I don't know how to get archive. There we go. And then you go to stories. And you go there. So my question was, how many hours per week do you train? And fuck me, one of them. So you're typically looking. I got about 12 results, which is good. Good amount of feedback for me on my channel. 4, 6, around 4, give or take, 7 to 14 hours, depending on the workload. Fucking hell, that is a lot of training. 5, between 5 and 7, 6, 6, 5, 7, 8, 10. So yeah, they're the numbers we're looking at. How often do you take deload, rest, or taper weeks? Had a lot of people saying never. A few people saying between every 8 to 12 weeks. 0, yeah. And then the third question was, in the last year, has an injury prevented you from training a particular movement? And that was about 50-50, about yes and a no. There we go. Oh, Joseph, that'd be amazing. Can you get me a patch? I'm starting to build a patch thing. No, I don't want to copy Caleb because he's got his on his wall, but I could put one there. I've got so many patches, but my bag's only got a little like bloody patch on it. So that'd be amazing. But yeah, that'd be. I'll email you. That'd be great. Thank you. Sean Roddy writes, any plans to get James Townsend back on? Oh man, there's people in our space, right, that don't get anywhere near enough credit for their athleticism and what they're physically capable of doing. And that man right there is at the top of that fucking list. The shit he can do. Have you seen his power cleans? Have you seen his jumps? Have you seen his fucking SBD total? He is a monster, an absolute, he's like a ball of fast twitch. It's insane what he can do. And he's just ridiculous. Every video he puts up, every single video, I'm like, how the hell are you able to do that? But yeah, I will get in contact with him. And we will have him back on. Do you Vindicate writes, do you consider mobility work to be training? I think so. I think it is obviously more of a recovery tool, but I would consider that contributing towards the training. However, I don't know if I'd include that in the hours towards training. It would be like meal prep or hydration as being part of your training. I guess it's a support system for your training. So yeah, I don't know if I'd include it in the hours. Matt Burns writes, well, bloody hell, good morning. And so I was doing 6 classes a week, but recently backed off to 4 to see if I can benefit from intensity in each class rather than spreading it out over 6. Good shout. And again, it doesn't have to be a permanent fixture on your training timetable. You could do that for a 3-month block, see how you fare from it, have a look at your bloods, have a look at your recovery rates, test, have a workout like a girl WOD. That's what they're brilliant for. Have a look at the girl WODs, retest and evaluate and see how you're getting on. Awesome suggestion. Mexican Godfather writes, can you tell me about a typical powerlifting meet day? What order that? Absolutely. That's a great question, Mexican Godfather. I'd love, thank you for that. Now, typical powerlifting day. Let's say usually what would happen if you had enough participants, you'd have males and females on 2 different days. If you put the men first on the Saturday, because you are a man, I'm assuming you're a man, Godfather. All the men would arrive, let's say lift off is at 11 a.m. Lift off at 11 a.m. So the first person lifts at 11. Weigh-in starts at 9 a.m. So you've got a 2-hour window to start your weigh-in. The reason you have 2 hours is because if you've had to cut back, if you're dehydrated for safety reasons to get everyone through, And also, if you haven't quite made weight and you want to go and try and lose weight, you've got a 2-hour window to do that, because obviously there's weight categories for powerlifting. Once you've weighed in and you're happy, you want to fuel up a little bit and get ready. At 11 o'clock, the squatting starts. So, clues in the title, SBD, that is squat, bench, deadlift. That's the order that the day of a powerlifting meet goes in, SBD. The squats will go first. When you are at your weigh-in, you would have put in your entry number. So your first lift off all 3 of the lifts. So your first entry weight. It goes in that order, and you go in a round robin. So the lightest lifter lifts first. So let's say there's a young lad there and he's in it and he's lifting 70 kilos. He'll go first. He has a 2-minute window to get onto the platform, to prepare, to lift, to command, and to get his lift. He'll then walk off the stage. The stage crew will then get the plates ready for the next lifter that lifts after him. And you go round in order. And if you successfully lift the weight on the bar, when you're coming off the platform, you then tell the judges to the side, or the stage crew, what weight you're going to do next. They then input that into a computer system that gets it ready for the next time that you are on. If there's 10 of you lifting in your wave, you go to the back room on the back end and you wait your turn, and every 2 minutes a new lifter will come out and they'll have their attempt. Once you've done 3 attempts at the squat, there is then between 20 and 30-minute break for the stage to be set for the bench press. So the bench has to come out, has to get set up, and exactly the same principle and order happens again. So the lightest lifter goes first, and then we go through all 3 attempts of the bench. Then you have a 20 to 30-minute break, and then the deadlift, and you do 3. Now, there are technically, sometimes it can be done, 4 different awards: the heaviest squat, heaviest bench, heaviest deadlift, and then the heaviest total. But traditionally, and at most competitions, it's done on the total. So you get your total across the S, the B, and the D. In your weight categories, there's something called GL points. And what that does, it takes into account an algorithm that works out your body weight against the lifts that you've done. And it gives you this score. Typically, that would be somewhere below 100. But the elite lifters are well above 100. So you're given those GLs, and what that does, it aggregates out for all the considerations, and that way they can have one big wave of lifters and you go up against everyone. However, if it's a qualifying event, you don't go up against anyone. You use that as a qualifying total to get your GL points as well, so that you can qualify for the next tier of event, which might be a regional or a national event. And that, sir, is a summary of how a powerlifting competition or meet would go. I hope that answers. Jeremy says, love James, but I don't want to cry again. Yeah, you know what? I shouldn't have done that right at the end. That was sneaky. But I tell you what, man, what a dad. Like, what a man. That he's forget the athleticism, forget the experience that he's got, forget everything he's been through. The way that he looks at his daughters, that's a thing of beauty. He should be right up there on everyone's list of inspirational men. Yeah, his jumps, it's just, I'll get him on again, all right? Hello, Mr. Slop. Yo, what up, y'all? Jeremy writes, next question. Do you put more hours into fitnessing or consuming podcasts? That, my friend, is a very good question. Personally, for me, it's had to flip on its head. I've absorbed a lot less podcasts over the last 7 months because I'm doing them. And the time that I'd normally dedicate towards viewing is now taken up by me preparing and doing podcasts, because I can't allow my whole life to be orientated around it. So for me at the moment, I only absorb very, very little But yes, that's me. But you guys obviously are a very different position. I'm assuming, because me a year ago was probably listening to maybe 4 hours a day of content from different places, not just CrossFit. Obviously, as you know, I'm involved with weightlifting and powerlifting as well, so I do absorb a lot of that kind of stuff. So, Vindicate writes, FYI, Defiant Co will have some CEO and Carlton shirts. They're awesome. Steve, of Travis and Steve link up. The dream scenario for us. So me and Jan will obviously be over there. So Travis, have you sent that over to him yet? Because if so, I'll be grabbing some, which is good. I love your stuff. Yes, Adam. Good morning, Jake and team. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Where's Jet? Is Jet here? Someone put something to Jet. No. Here we go. Jezebel. I took a step back to focus on longevity, so only one workout per day with tons of mobility, and wouldn't you know it, I've lost mineral. Yeah, funny that, isn't it? It's almost as if quality is better than quantity. Did I talk about this on here? I think I might have done. We left the gym the other day on Sunday, and these people had ran to the gym to do a workout to then run home after. And that shit kills me, because I know full well those people don't go hard enough in the gym. So, yeah. And I guess that comes down to education and communication at the gym. So, take accountability for that. Morning. Hello. Now, the good thing is I don't know who that is. It could be any one of 4 people. No, 3 people, because I know it's not me. Oh, I know who it was. It was Jon, because Jon Clark writes, good morning even. So it was Jon. Mexican Godfather writes, what is a good total? 1,800. Yeah, so we've talked about... We definitely haven't talked about this before, have we, Godfather? So let's say 1,800. So with powerlifting, it's always done in kilos. So that would be an 816 kilo total. That is quite a high total, depending on your body weight, of course. Thanks for noticing, Jan. Now, would you like me to tell you about this? Because that's a good thing. Coaches Congress, Defiant, and the Academy program. They are all brands that I have a very good relationship with the people that own and operate them. And from day one, I've said all along that this particular show is all about elevating and promoting people that I really believe in and want to help in our community. So I've got the permission of all 3 of the brands listed at the bottom there, and they've agreed that we can work in partnership with each other to help promote and get their name out there. And that's the reason why, because I firmly do love what they're doing, all 3 of them, and they fit really nicely. And they're all color coded because I changed the colors. Don't tell them that. Matt Burns writes in response to Jon Clark, good morning, you bald Scottish prick. Good. Travis writes, podcast 100% but it's while I'm working. Yeah. So I mean, Travis, I correct me if I'm wrong here, and maybe it's from your video that I saw earlier this morning. I think I saw it this morning. A lot of your time might be in the warehouse, shifting, printing, designing, that kind of thing. So I guess having something in the background, not like a white noise per se, but something you can get involved with and kind of, take away from the work is always a good thing. And, it's getting information in to do with your clientele, which is good. Yes, Steve's handling the production much easier. Oh, brilliant! That's fucking brilliant. And you know what? Steve's shirts and kit is amazing. Actually, he told me. Let's have a look. There was an email going out this morning about some top secret shit. It might be in there. No, I haven't signed up to it. That's embarrassing. It'll be Defiant Co. Here we go. Early access. So yeah, we got a good thing going. So Rogue is going to be. That's not long away now. Do you know? Was it Halloween weekend? Isn't it? So we're about two and a bit weeks away. But yeah, if anyone's out there wants to have a look at Defiant, have a look at that. But the guys that come into Rogue, make sure you come over to Stee. My kids are going to be working on the stand there for a little bit, so they've promised to help Stee out, sell some stuff. Joseph Ramirez, right? Sentinel workout sucked this morning. Let us know what it was. Let me know what it was. Oh, here we go. Has done already. Echo bike cows, GHD sit-ups, and burpee pull-ups. Yeah, that sucks. Jodie's at work now, so Jodie, have a lovely day. Sell some furniture, cabinets. I think that's Cabinet Lady was your old name. So sell some cabinets. Do some good things. Yeah, enjoy yourself. Good morning, Jeffers. Trust you well, sir. What you been up to? And thanks for answering I saw your answers to my questions the other day on Instagram, Jeremy. Jeffrey, thank you very much for that. Thank you for your time and your dedication to the cause. Adam from 5am Squad Club writes, did a deficit deadlift strict pull-up EMOM. Lovely. Good. Natalie Fleming. Boom, I'm late. Well, better late than never. Although I still PTSD from Aberdeen last year, I have FOMO now, got this year. Sean, yeah. So they've released the single day tickets, which we may have to capitalize on. Jon and I applied for media passes with Outside the Box, with Glinton things, and for this show via Savon. And wouldn't you know it, we got 2 lots of media passes. So that's fun. So I'm hoping that 2 lots each means we're like VIP section of the media. But yeah, my wife and kids are coming along, so they're going to have fun. Meals. But not far away. Not far away now. We've got our High Rocks to get through. Next Thursday, that'll be fun. I need to really start thinking about probably doing some running, I would have thought. But I might not. Who knows? And then, yeah, so that's the 23rd. Thursday, 23rd. Me and Jon are going to drop in with Gareth in Birmingham. Gareth's one of the CrossFit UK guys. So we're going to go and move a little bit on the Wednesday. We still don't know our timing. Jon, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we don't know the time that we're going to do our High Rocks. But for me, it's going to be enjoyable, a lot of fun. I got to tell you about what happened at the gym yesterday. So I wasn't going to do the class. I was going to train. Katie was training the class, and I had a 15-minute window. Just pretty ill still. Well, you know, that's fine. I think we'll be afternoon. Lovely. It's good to see everyone's as prepared as I am. Natalie writes, I have a competition in 2 weeks and haven't ran through any of the workouts yet. Look, the whole point of CrossFit is prepare for the unknown, right? So treat it like that. You're old school. If you don't prepare for stuff, i.e. you don't look at specifics and you just rock up on the day, just consider yourself an OG CrossFitter. It's the perfect get out of jail free card. Last year, Sean writes, last year, the worst part about Rogue was the event itself, which says everything. Absolutely amazing reduction in atmosphere, activations, and benefit. Awesome. Love to hear that. Can't wait. Kids are all going to love it. Are you flying on the Thursday morning? hopefully we're in the afternoon then. Event was 10 out of 10 too. Perfect. Godfather writes, I'm running a 50-mile race 30 days from now. So this is me being a complete twat, right? I think I could do that 50-mile race without any prep. I wouldn't be quick. I'd probably finish last, but I could get round it. Am I wrong? Let me know your thoughts, Godfather. Do you think I could get around it? Is there a time cap? Is there like a cut-off points around the circuit? Oh, I see. Okay. Jon, am I still picking you up from the airport, by the way? Or are you in Birmingham? Can't remember. No, Sean writes, Godfather writes, no, you would sustain a various injury around 30 miles. Do you think? Marathon is about the first you can go without training. See, now you're just tempting me. I'll give you fine to Birmingham. So there's this thing we do called Race the Sun on the island. I know I've talked about it in the past, but I'll talk about it again. So round the island is about 100 miles on a course. And you go in a team and it's a relay race and you go around the island. And funny enough, you start when the sun comes up. So it's the longest day of the year. What was that, May 21st? Whenever the fucking longest day of the year is. I think it's May 21st-ish. The sun came up at 5:06 a.m. And I know that because I did leg 1. I did absolutely no running at all whatsoever for that for about a year before because of my knees. And I did 18 kilometers off the bat, and it's hills. It's real fucking hills. A lot of elevation, blah, 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 blah. And I got around that. And that was fine. But yeah, 18K is very different to 50K. Yeah. See, that's the nuance here. That's what I'm getting at, right? I could go out this afternoon and do a marathon, but running a marathon would be a different thing. So when it comes to high rocks, same principle. I can do the 8K of running, but whether I'm properly running it is another thing. And me and Jon aren't going to be hammering it. I hope. I hope that's not the expectation. Speak for yourself. Just don't ever talk for me. Lots of speed walking. Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? Speed walking can be really fast. Like race walking. Erica on the island where we live, she's got a sub 40-minute 10K race walk. Sub 40-minute 10K race walk. That's an amazing thing. My body shut down during 70K a few months ago and I was devastated. Tried it again 2 weeks later and knocked 1.5 hours off my time because my body knew what to do. Cool. Yeah. Not like Mason's 3 minute. That's fucking mental, isn't it? Fucking mental. Mason, again, Mason's a bit like James Townsend in that respect. Completely overlooked. But go and have a look at what that boy's doing. Like, that's an athlete. And he's 40. So, you know. Mason, me, just James, Carl, all the big names are 40. Yeah. Mason really is a genetic freak. He is. And fair play to him. Fucking embrace that shit. Joe Lim writes, that's crazy. I do a 10K ruck and it seems an hour 40. Yeah. Rucking's another thing, isn't it, though? I love Mac. Mac's cool. Mac was at Twickenham the other day. He's just one of those guys who just flies under the radar. Always a smile, always a chat. What a guy. Yeah. Mason will front squat 405 and then go run a 3 minute K. Yeah, he's just nuts. So and you know the great thing is about Mason, he understands people and he's a very good coach. So keep that in mind. Dave Kessler. So here's the thing. So when I started doing that ruck race last year, started in January, was it? No, February or March. I think it's February, March. I genuinely didn't realize how fast people were at rucking. I was like, are you sure you're rucking? But then I learned that people run with the ruck. It's not a walk. They're running with it on. And I looked at the distances and times and I was like, how have you done that? And then I realized they're running. And I was like, okay, got it. The only one that I did well at was the weighted one. It was called Atlas and it was a 1 mile ruck with and your weight, your load was your score, and there was a tie break of your time. And I did it at 87.5 kilos. I did a mile and it was like 18 minutes, I think. 87.5 times 2.205. So 192 pounds on me. And I did a mile in 18 minutes. That's the only one I did all right at. Not great, but all right. And it was just because it was a lot slower. People couldn't run because it was just too heavy. Yeah. Yeah. Ruck equals running it, hike, walking it. Yeah. Do you prefer loads on your back or both? I want loads on my front and my back at the same time, please. Oh, what's Natalie writing? Natalie Fleming writes, I just ran my first mile without having to stop and walk. So is that awesome? That's awesome. I'm a strength athlete. Brilliant. Nice one, Natalie. We all need to do it all, don't we? Jodie Lim writes, I have a nice elevation in my neighbour, Sean. I've never done Chad. Okay. Chad's cool. Chad's Chad is a really fucking good example of what the hero workouts were truly about. It's not about working in the shadows and being on your own. The whole point in hero workouts like Murph and Chad are to do it at the affiliate with a group of people, enjoying your time, enjoying movement and being there. It wasn't ever supposed to be as fast as you can. It wasn't ever supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be as a group, communicating, enjoying being part of that culture and just enjoying it. It was never supposed to be a race. So Chad is a perfect example of a completely monostructural workout that will absolutely obliterate you, but you're doing it as part of a tribe. And if people don't do it like that, fine. If people want to do it on their own to be in a meditative spirit and that kind of thing, great. If you can't be an affiliate, yeah, Adam's put here. Perfect. If you can't be an affiliate, do it with him. Adam, I'm assuming you're going to do it at 5 a.m. We're going to do an AMRAP 30 of step ups November 11th. Cool. So yeah, I would probably place it as monostructural, I think, because it fits all the criteria, doesn't it? Kind of 1,000 box step ups. It sort of is monostructural. You're doing one thing over and over repeatedly, and the same. Yeah, there is an external load, but drag rope. Think about a drag rope. That's an external load. Skipping, we kind of include that. Double unders as monostructural, I'd imagine. And if you're running with a weighted vest, that counts as so mono lifting. Yeah. Mental then, yeah, exactly. And it is more mental. Matt Burns writes, it is more mental, and exactly right. Sean says, would you call the Rogue Sandbag Run event monostructural? I think I would, because it's running. this is the issue where we have weightlifting, gymnastics, and mono as the three categories. Like, obviously, there's going to be like pegboard, right? I know that that's gymnastic, but it's not classically gymnastic. A burpee's gymnastic. It's not classically gymnastic. When you get things like box step-ups, 1,000 box step-ups for time. And in all reality, most people doing Chad should not wear a fucking weighted vest, just like Murph. 99% of people doing Murph and Chad, if they're doing it as prescribed, should not be going anywhere fucking near a weighted vest. Do it without first, and then over time, repetition, start to add load over time when you repeat the workout. Don't go fucking full pelt being Mr. fucking Billy Big Bollocks just because you think you should. It's a real fucking tough workout, and there's nothing stopping you from doing it without it the first time. I've never done it with a load, sucks, but yeah. So, and look, if you want to do it with the load, and only Vindicate writes, only done Chad one time with a vest, plenty of good work. Yeah, exactly. But you know, if you want to do it with a vest and it's your first time, fine. No one's holding it against you. Well, you are, because with a strap. But no one's going to say you're an idiot. But all I would say is, if there's got to be certain markers in place, there's got to be certain conditions that you would want to vest up in. And if you've never done Chad before, ever, I would thoroughly recommend doing it without a vest and just doing 1,000 box step-ups as fast as you can. Let's see how that goes first. But yeah. Is a weighted pull-up weightlifting from Jeremy? Well, think about what weightlifting is. It's lifting weights. So, and I get what you mean, that there's these crossovers, aren't there? So there's these movements and patterns that branch between two of those three. And for me, it's interesting. It's a thought experiment. It's interesting to think, right, okay, where would I label that? Where would I put that? Because clearly you're adding resistance and add a weight to make it harder via resistance. So, you know, hello, Mr. Jonathan Ortega. We just talked about that. We just do it with a ruck. That's what we talked about. With a bag on your back, you can do that, but it's the same principle. If you want to load up, fine. No one's going to hold it against you. My opinion, my advice as a coach, and for longevity, and for people to be able to come back in the gym 2 days later, to be able to not have knee issues, to be able to move properly, to be able to get the stimulus. Most people do not need to load up for Chad. They don't need to, just like Murph. Most people, and like people that are doing banded pull-ups or jumping pull-ups and can't do press-ups, push-ups to the floor, can't air squat properly. They hinge and they touch the floor with their fingertips and their arse is still in the air. And then they're running and they're taking 10 minutes to do a mile. There's no requirement for a vest there. Push a little bit harder without the load, and next time and build towards it and get stronger in the other movements, you know? I agree with you. I know that's my role. When I can't be in the chat, I need someone else to do my role for me. So thank you, Ortega. I only do Chad after a few drinks, writes Jon Clark. When did you see Chad last? Lat pull down, eels. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lat pull down. Jeremy, my point is, it's not. Yeah, it isn't. It's definitely not black and white. It's biracial. I think that's the new word. I say mixed race, and that's fine. But people started saying biracial and mixed race being a bad thing. So let's go with biracial, shall we? Jeremy, what's your opinion? Jeremy says, I talked Savannah to doing Chad last year or the year before. I forget. He didn't talk to me. Yeah, Niels. Joseph Ramirez writes, how many people actually do Chad or Murph with the correct form? So that's the other thing. So and this pulls us back towards that coaching thing, doesn't it? See, that's and I'm not saying this is right for everyone. I'm not saying this is correct for everyone. But we each have our own lenses that we watch CrossFit through and we admire CrossFit through and we see CrossFit through. At the beginning of this, an hour and a half ago, I said, what is CrossFit to you? If you had to say what is CrossFit, what would that be? For me, it's what happens on the gym floor when I'm coaching and I'm viewing and I'm watching people do the methodology. That's what I see when I think of CrossFit. That's me because I'm a coach. I don't think of Matt Fraser and Rich Froning at the games. I think of Jenny and not Jenny Dents, Jenny, Dave, John, Margaret at the gym moving, right? That's what I think of CrossFit. Now, with that lens on, that's how I view workouts. I view workouts in a group setting, how to get the best stimulus or how close we can get to the intensity and the stimulus prescribed from that workout and meeting those individuals where they're at. That's how I view workouts, not the elite doing it. So when I talk about, okay, maybe most people shouldn't be wearing a weighted vest or a load, they're the people I'm thinking about, clearly. And there's probably a bit of hesitancy there. There's probably a bit of reservation, maybe, holding people back, maybe, but all with the viewpoint of longevity and keeping them come back into the gym. So that's, and again, I've been doing it long enough now to have seen these patterns and these waves repeat. And the people that have stuck with CrossFit for over a decade, predominantly improving, moving really well, enjoying it, hitting the stimulus, they aren't the people that push to that extreme all the time. They're the people that work at 78% capacity. They train 4 to 5 times a week. They have fun outside of the gym. They move. They think about their movement quality. And that was the point we were getting at. I would much rather see, and I'm sure we'd all agree here, I'd much rather see someone not have a weighted vest for Murph, smash the movement standards, hit depth on the squats, mechanics looking good. Their running is a relatively standard pace. Their pull-ups are on point. And they do Murph in an hour and 20 minutes. That, for me, would be an incredible thing to watch and coach through, rather than me going, hanging back and thinking, oh, is that depth? Their heels are coming up on their squats. Their press-ups are a bit wormy. Their pull-ups, are their chin actually reaching it because they're in a butterfly? That kind of thing. And for the sake of a vest and for speed, you know, I'd much rather see someone do that. Obviously, I'm having to do a blanket approach here. There's going to be specifics and nuances there that are, you know, adjustable. But blanket term here, I would much rather see decent quality and mechanics moving slightly slower than someone moving quicker with borderline shitty movement. Mr. Birchfield writes, had a discussion about lens and bar muscle up sister with a friend. We definitely wear different. Yeah. And do you know what? That's cool. That's okay. It's okay to have difference of opinions and biases and you know, different viewpoints. It's cool. At 61, I look at you're not 61, Jody. Blimey. At 61, I look at Chad differently. I see it as a knee and hip injury risk. I do other movement though. Cool. That's fine. Do you have the smaller steps, Jody? Have you got a smaller step? Because Athena talks about this. Athena Perez talks about this, about scaling as the distance traveled. So rather than a 20-inch box, you could go to like a 12 or a 15-inch box. Have you ever done that? Or to plates? I know a lot of people do it to plates rather than a box. That could happen. Jeremy writes, nor do they give a damn about games athletes. Yeah, true. What was that advert? Budweiser. True. Matt writes, for Murph, I'd encourage folks to do sub 50 without. Yeah. Perfect. Get the intensity, get it down to a certain time. Once you've hit sub 50, add a vest, try and get it under an hour, you know, and then build it back down. Because ideally, in an ideal world, when we're talking to clients and members, we want them in there in the long run. We want them there for 10 years. So we're looking at it from a long-term picture. This year, do it sub 50 without a vest. Next year, let's add a vest and try it under an hour. The year after that, let's see if we can get down to 55 with a vest. The year after that, so in 4 years' time, we might be matching your output now, but with an external load on us. We're looking long-term. So when we try and encourage this real short-term burst principle of like performance right now, to me, that doesn't show longevity or thought from a coach about long-term goals. So, but again, it could be that for a certain individual, that's on point, and that's what they want to do. So that's nuance, but we have to have some kind of general term for it. Seeing someone do Murph with good form looks like her. Yeah. Oh, it's a thing of beauty, isn't it? It's a thing of beauty. Ortega writes, Jodie, my 72-year-old lady I trained just had her do it in 2-4. Yes, exactly. A couple of plates as a 3-minute AMRAP with 1 minute rest for 32 minutes. Perfect. Lovely. And again, you've got time, distance, and load there. You've managed to dictate that to meet the person where they're at. They're getting the stimulus. That's the beauty of CrossFit. Something we take pride in. Jeremy says, I did Murph with Ben Askin a few years ago in a row, not one rep was completed. Yeah. Okay, cool. Jodie, yeah, so multiple height options. Yeah. So again, the distance traveled, if you think about a run, we might scale the distance from a quarter mile, so to a 400 to a 300, to make sure that we're hitting that 2-minute mark for that 400 for individuals. We can do the same thing with distance traveled on the box, and also it doesn't put your knees and your hips into a compromised position. Funny enough, I've actually got an over 60s class on Sunday I'm starting. And we're just looking at basic principles of mechanics. So we're going to be looking, intensity is going to be relatively low. And we're getting him in the gym just to understand muscle mass, muscle retention, building. I've got me and a physio there. And we're all going to be working towards it. And my goal for it, my secret goal at the end of this, so we're going to hopefully have them in for about a year minimum to start with. If we can get all of them able to do 3 burpees, a set of 3 burpees and maybe squat to full depth, what a life-changing class that would be for them, And we're not going intense necessarily, because they're going to be all walks of life coming to this session. So we'll see what we're at. And my mother-in-law, who's 67, who's obviously a games athlete, she's going to be coming along to show them what is possible at the old age. Because I say old age, at an older age. I think a lot of people write themselves off with age. I've started saying things and I go, no, rein it in. Don't blame your age. It's just a get out of jail free card for a lot of people. Distance traveled. Nice. Love that, Athena. Yeah. Athena's on it. Again, another person in our industry that doesn't get anywhere near enough credit for what she does. Exactly. Force time, distance, weight over time. Bonza. Well done, Jake. Now fuck off, writes Matt Burns. Lovely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sean Roddy writes, my toxic trait is removing a movement entirely instead of scaling to distance traveled when injured. Something I need to get better at. Thanks for reminding. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. Yon's written. Yon Clark writes, I did a thing called Fit for Life a few years ago. Do you remember when everyone had the number 4 in there for the word FOR? I remember that. I did that at one of my gyms, actually. Jeremy writes, Jake, who's your favorite British gangster character and why is it Brick Top? I don't know if I know Brick Top. Who's Brick Top? Remind me. Okay, got to go chat to you benders later. Bye, Yon Clark. Have a lovely morning. Enjoy your coaching. Now, actually, funny enough, I need to leave soon as well because I've got to coach at 3 o'clock just as Savon starts. So, by the way, Sean says, God, I miss using Bender. Consider it back in the back. Thanks, Sean. I saw news that the In-Betweeners is coming back with the original cast. All 4 of them have signed up for it. So we sure look forward to that. Lovely. Right. I better scoot off, leave the channel open. So I've been your warm-up act. I've been your fluffer this morning, ready for the big show in half an hour. Snatch. Okay. Do you know what? I haven't seen Snatch for a little while. Jake, plug our show on here. Oh, yes. Sorry. So before I go, hang on. Search. We have got on Glinton Channel, our show on there outside the box. Yon and I, Jonathan, Yoni Benoni, Yanni Banani. We've got a couple of really good shows coming on. We've got Dr. Gupta from Thrive Doctor. Jon had the pleasure of introducing him at Coaches Congress last weekend. Make sure you tune into that, to do with age, and to do with how to stay fit and healthy as we get older, and recovery tools for that to add in. So make sure you're there. And then we have the mighty Stella Bartram. Stella is obviously at the games as well now, but for the last decade, Stella has been the voice of CrossFit in the UK. She's always been on the mic, always walking around. She's instantly recognizable. So yeah, we've got Stella coming on, and we've also actually I won't announce the next person. But we do have another one signed up for the week after we get back from Rogue, which is going to be awesome. We've got some really good guests lined up. So yeah, Stella is an affiliate owner, a games athlete as well, sports MC. But yeah, so if you're interested, tune into that. We have got Stella on the 16th on Thursday, so a couple of days time. And yeah, let's go. So there we go. They are the shows we've got coming up and outside the box. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for having a chat. Thanks for discussing all things coaching, powerlifting, rucking, Chad, scaling, intensity, aging, C4. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy Savon's show coming up soon. Go train, go coach, go do what you need to. Have a lovely day, and I will see you on Thursday, hopefully. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your input, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye, guys.